so it will be your good points that we will hear from you.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Yes.
Okay. So I just say when it will become, I will try to be concluded in within 5 minutes, but just when it become 4 minutes, so you just raise your hand, then I will conclude it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vaibhav Suroi, and I'm from Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, and I'm currently preparing for defense exams. And now it's time for a speech. As we all know, the topic for today's development of, I think, what was the topic?
Evolution of human society.
Evolution, yeah,
Evolution.
of human society. Yeah. So I would be covering it in some points. My first point is evolution of the human body. So it is according to the science. The life started on Earth is around 1.5 billion years ago, and the first sign of life was seen in hydrothermal vent precipitates, which is something found in the oceans and seas. So it is kind of algae which we studied in our 10th or some 10th standard, I think. And then the evolution of life happened. Different kind of animals, different kind of bacteria, other kind of insects came into life, and then the human evolved. As we are today, we are called the Homo sapiens, which is the final, you can say, final species of a human. Then after, the brain of the human developed slowly and gradually. The mind of the human being developed, and then which became the base of the overall development of human society. And we study in our books that there used to be ice ages, there used to be iron ages. Human extracted these kind of things, they invented these kind of things, bronze ages. Then human invented wheels, human invented fire. We started doing agriculture, we started uh, living in societies. These different kind of things happened in our past. So this is the, and the other thing is human started reproducing, and which became the cycle of the life, which uh, increased the population on earth. And it now we have 7 point something 7, around 7 billion population on earth. Then the second point is emotional aspect. So as we all know that initially we used to live alone, we used to live in caves, we used to uh, only hunt, we used to hunt and eat. Then the population increases, we used to started living in societies, we started loving each other, we started loving animals, we started loving nature. So this is the emotional development. Like we earlier, we don't know how to love each other, how to express our each other, but nowadays we can see we are able to express each other, as now we are doing here. So there are so many things that developed emotionally. And so this all became the emotional evolution. The third one is socio-economic development. As the population increases, human evolved in different ways. Needs of people are evolved. We different kind of people need different things. So it became the a base of the socio-economic development. Like if someone needs anything, though I will provide them. If I need something, then they will provide them. So it to become the part of, then trade happened. So we started earning money. We starting spending money. So this became the base of the social economic development. And we starting caring each other, like medical facilities and mental happiness and other things also came into this. So this also happened. And then the building structures, as the points were mentioned earlier in the group. So human, first we used to live in caves, we used to live in huts, then igloos and different kinds of houses. Then the human brain started to developing their houses. Then we started making buildings. We have different kind of buildings today, different kind of statues. We have marvels of building. We have if we talk about India, then we have different kind of temples. They are marvelous. We cannot talk about that how human can made these kind of things. Like we have Ellora caves. We can see in South India there are so many temples. The cravings of the walls of those temples. We have Mughaliya arts. We can see Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, different kind of maqbaras. We can also take the other examples like pyramids of Egypt. So their secret we still can't know what is who made them. And the final is science and technology. We cannot live without it today. We are even talking right now, so it is only possible due to the science and technology, and it is all given by the human being. Human being, my I would like to conclude it that human being is the creator and the destroyer of the current society. We have nuclear weapons, we can destroy the things that we have made, and the human is the creator of that thing. So, and we have other different things we make us happy. We have televisions, we have movies, we have entertainment, different kind of, we can play games. So this is the thing, human, god made the human, I can say in my words, god made the human, and human is the only person who made and destroyed the earth. So this is my speech on how human has developed in all these years. Thank you.
Yeah, you said a good point. Like humans are the one who are creator and destroy both. Like, yeah, I agree on that. Yeah, you made also made some good points, like how our society involved through like body, like how we evolved. Like first came how reproduction system started, and these kind of points were good. So I will call you now, Amita, if you can just go ahead and talk about the points of human, how humanity involved in our society.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vishal, for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you people. So, let me introduce first of all. I am Amita Sharma, pursuing PhD in chemistry, and I am basically from Himachal Pradesh. So, today topic is evolution of human society. So first of all, what is evolution of human society? Means the definition of human society is the area of evolution biology that studies how social interaction between the peoples and the species between the individual of same species that arises and the changes which are involved and how they are maintained. Okay, a particular force is on how cooperative behavior between the two individual which will be beneficial to each other and despite the institutive advantage of being selfish. So this is the evolution of human society. According to me, it's the definition. And now it is started over the 6 million years. During the time, group size studies increase, and to maintain group cohesion, human being gradually evolved a well developed society intelligence. So it has basically main depend upon the passes through different stages. These are the stages, like first stage is the hunting and gathering, second is the agriculture stage, and third is the industrial stage. And now we are, I think, on the industrial stage. As we know, as already we were told that hunting and gathering in the previous days, the human has a very small size, brain has a small size, means their body, we are on the like homo sapiens, like we are on the like a monkey, human are social animal, right? So according with the time we are just changed to ourselves. We have the like 4 foot. Nowadays we are have only just two, means we are just gradually growing toward. So this is the hunting and aggregate with the society. We saw lots of new things. Means from the, it's a very large process. It's not a small process. If we are today era, so after 20 or 30 years, I think we are more developed. So this is all about human society. We are just something we are seeing or we are searching. So we are just with the development, means we are analyzing that things and we are develop ourselves. So it is mainly the understanding evolution is important, which it also it help in the biological problem that impart our lives to control hereditary diseases in the people also. Like in the previous day, lots of diseases occurs in the body, right? And nowadays it will decrease now day by day. Means and also researchers study that also, I think that our body, how our body work in the previous day, how our mind work with the technology, how we can innovate ourselves. And the evolutionary history in the diseases, yeah, obviously in the previous day we have a different type of diseases. Nowadays we have a different type of diseases, and yeah, we are means now we are very quick to means remove that diseases from take care of that diseases. But in the previous days we don't have that much facility, each and everything. So it's a, evolutionary history in the diseases and caring and causing genes. Yeah, nowadays means we have a different type of genes rather than the old genes. Like in the previous days, we are not that much developed, so knowledge of the evolution can improve the. So I think it is the knowledge of the evolution which improve the quality of human life. Now we are in the stage of evolution, means it is a long process. We are just evolution day by day. So in the conclusion, I can say that evolution is very good for us as well as bad for us, as I agree with the Baba Sirohi point. Yeah, if we are doing for the good, like we procure our diseases and we have a good healthy lifestyle, so it's good for us. But like we are like coronavirus is coming from the whatever the country, I don't know, means we are from so we are also creating some problem also for ourselves. So human evolution is good as well as bad for us. We are also we are created as well as destroyed. So I think we should maintain our human evolution with the nature, so that we can't destroy the nature and everything will be on a neutral way or in a track, particular track. So this is the conclusion of my topic. Thank you so much, and
Yeah,
please give me some advice also, so that I
yeah,
can
it will
improve
be in the
myself.
end. We can discuss about that in the end.
Okay, okay, please, I also need
And
some
your
suggestions from
points
you
were good,
guys.
like you said about agriculture and then industrialist. Like we are currently in the industrial phase, and
Yeah,
you talked about the quality of evolution, like how it's better or not, like why people are making these kind of diseases and generating them and trying to solve them eventually
yeah,
after getting
yes,
like affected from it. Okay,
yeah.
so those were good points from you. Like,
Thank you
so
so
I think
much.
Arunish, you should speak next, and you can just give your points to us. Like,
Yeah,
what?
so thank you, Vishal, to giving me this opportunity. And firstly, I am introduce myself. So my name is Arunis Garg, and currently I am pursuing MBA from MPSTME NMIMS. And now I am coming to our topic, which is a evaluation of human society. So, firstly, everyone has given his own idea and theory upon this. So, there may be many scientists are there who have been giving their ideas and research and all. So, one of the famous scientists who have been giving this research in all was the called as the Dorins, and I have been read up
Mhm.
about that. So, first thing is that the humans is as like a we are a human. So in basically a human, what we have that we have a emotions is there. So suppose that we are in a single person, we just want to talk with others, we just want to help with others. So basically this is a emotions is there, we just want to connect with others. So as this at the Dorins have been says that the first phase where the peoples were basing the gatherings were there, huntings were there. So I have been read about that, and which is the topic is that the peoples basically hunting, and after that gatherings were there. So after this, in this process is there, they have tried to become a so socialized to each others like that. So in this situation, and what is basically is going on that if we are talking to someone, and if we are just to sharing our emotions with other, so generally oxytocin is there, which is released from our brain. So it is just to feeling like a sweet moment, we are just to try to feeling our, we are just to just shares our feelings to others like that. So basically this is what is giving to other, that we are feeling happy there. So this types of feeling is just gatherings, and we are just feeling like that. And second is that if we are trying to, and second is that at that the when the big beginning phase of that, so people basically have to hunting, they like that. So in like that they have been seen that the if just have to be a hunting like a something a lions or a tiger, so a single person cannot hunt a lions or a tigers. So basically there was a need of a two or three persons were there. So it will basically becomes a bonding to each others there. So it like just a becomes a unity there. So it is become a bonding to each other. So I think that this is a also or a things to people to become the togetherness. And and the first is that the ultimate the fighting is there. Suppose that in the beginning phase where there someone have a fight to others with the each others. So after that they will also become a group in the one's others, and also becomes a group in one others. So basically it will also try to create a boundness to each of them. So now I want to give my final points of that key. We should have to be, because human has a emotion, and we have to be share our emotions with the others. And it is very good to be a live in a unity, and we have to be live along forever. So that's all.
Okay, okay, great points. Like you mentioned about oxytocin chemical and yeah, how we generate it through by being in social. Like why it happens, like why we are become happy when we get socialized with people. Yeah, those were good points from you, Arunish. I think yeah, you made some good points on that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so I think now it's my time, so I will just give you some insights about this topic, like evolution of human society. Okay, so I in factor of that, I will just give you insights about in according to the money, how human society evolved according to the money, like how money came to know and why, what was the history of it. So first of all, so China was the one who introduced money in our world, like in 700 BC, and it was introduced through like a Barter system. There was a system called Barter, and in that system, like we used to trade through objects. Like if someone has a X, then he will just give that that person X, and the other guy will just give you some rice seeds or maybe some kind of stuff. Like we used to trade through objects in the early days, and that time the X and these kind of stuff were called as a currency at that time. So after few days, like after few years, like that X got converted into coins that were introduced by oblivion countries. Okay, so they introduced it through by making it like a gold and mixing of silver and gold in the early days. And they made some coins, and in the whole countries they served it through like trading between currencies, and they made it a part of transaction. And after some time, like in 1600 BC, European countries introduced paper system of currencies, and money. Like they will now trade from money by a paper that is called as a money, and they just try like traded from that kind of stuff. And after that system, banking system were introduced. Like there were some stamps and pattern kind of things were made on those paper, and each and every country introduced their own currency, and through paper and silver, like these metal coins and were also introduced after some time. So currently it's the past of the currency and money, how it evolved through our society. And now at this present time, like we are just handling it through cash, and like some digital transactions are currently going. But in the future, I think there are 3 points that I can give you guys, that will show you that how currencies will evolve in the future. So first point is like everything will be digital. Like paper system will be totally erupted by this digital currency. In the early days, you if you have known that internet what like cryptocurrencies are there, and like we are paying through digitally, but people are not aware of it, and says like some kind of things like it's illegal. But I have one point that internet, when internet was introduced, it was also called as illegal stuff, and people were afraid by using it. But nowadays it's like normal thing. Everybody uses internet, most of people. So in the future, upcoming future, everything like cryptocurrencies might come in the future, so we can trade through those kind of stuff. Paper system will be totally vanished in the sometime. And second point is about like we are moving towards a zero marginal society. And what it is like, a zero marginal society is like, I can give you one example that is specified what it is. So suppose if we are living in 1979 or 1989, so whenever we want to just have a picture of ourselves, like when we want to get a photo of ourselves, we just have to pay the photographer for that. Okay. But nowadays you guys can see like we have phones in our hand, we can click it whenever we want. There is no cost in it, like zero cost, zero margin cost in those kind of stuff. So in the upcoming future, like some most of the stuff will be like most kind of things will be like zero marginal things. Okay. And third point is uh, like all the like I don't know. Maybe I forgot some points. So oh, it's okay. It's fine, I think. So these kind of points, I think, will be shown in the future. Like we will be just like uh, people will just trade through currency by digitally only. That's the evolution of money through our society. Okay, I think it's time. Like we have only 2 minutes, and we have ended our meeting in correct time, I think. Okay,
Yeah.
Shivam, are you there?
So, yes, Vishal. So you
Yes.
said, the exchange of goods like rice with wheat and wheat with rice. What did you call that? It starting from B.
Faster system.
Sorry,
Faster system.
it is actually barter system. It is
Okay,
B A.
okay.
Yeah, it is BARTER.
TER. Okay, okay.
Yes. So it is pronounced as barter system.
Actually, I did research about this topic like way ago, so maybe I forgot the name. So
Yes.
I'm sorry
Yes.
for that point.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So we are all learning. So it is
Yeah.
barter system, and nice program, guys. And a lot has changed. I mean, the reason why we stand where we stand, most of the people don't like change right now, but change is what has kept us alive till now, right? So I'm sorry. So we for not long back we used to think that appendix has nothing to do in our body. Okay, so doctors, if we had appendix problem, doctor would suggest that just take it out because it's just an extra organ doing nothing in your body. But with recent researches, we have found that even appendix is responsible for developing and boosting our immunity system, right? So the evolution, when everything went through evolution, there is nothing that in our body that I think is doing nothing, right? So evolution was very important, and we should be thankful that evolution happened. So I'll tell you briefly a very brief overview of how, according to a lot of scientists that I have read and a lot of videos that I have seen, so how the society started. So just in a very 2 to 3 minutes I'll try to wrap this up. So earth was once a boiling, I may tell you something maybe not very accurate, but I'll tell you what I gathered. Okay, I don't have some scientific evidence in it. I may say something wrong because I'm not a scientist myself. So right where you are sitting right now, this time, this place was once a burning a place. So there were lava like burning places everywhere, but through the vaporization, through those processes, atmosphere formed. So when atmosphere was gradually forming, it started raining. And through raining, the earth slowly and gradually it started cooling down. Okay. So when it went through ages of cooling down, all those rainfalls, like if you throw a bucket of water somewhere, then it will all probably go into the drainage. But in some parts where there is, small, holes, the water will try to hold there, right? So that in that process, that is how all the waters were collected in our lakes that we have today, in the oceans that we have today. But lakes did not contribute much in those senses, but our oceans, it became salty because the waters used to pass through lots of rocks. Okay, so it used to take on those minerals and salty, things, and it used to pass through that. So there may be other factors also into play, but this is one of the factors why our ocean water tastes salty. And an amazing fact to excite you here about what I'm saying is, again, according to one of the videos, scientific videos I have watched, if you take out all the salt, if you take out all the salt from the sea, oceans, then it will probably 20-30 story building. It will be a pile of that much salt all over the land area of earth. So you will be, at least the skyscrapers you see here in India, so you at least it would be that high, and it will cover entire earth land area, right? So they have that much of salt in the sea. So just like, when we throw rice somewhere, you may have heard your parents saying that don't throw, things just randomly anywhere, or why we take out that, garbage outside our home and throw it in a different place. Because if we keep all those remainings of the foods, it gives birth to life, different kind of lives, right? We say in Hindi, "Kira pad jana," right? So some of the insects that bones out of it, they crawl, some of them they fly. So it's the life system, it's the life force system of our planet that gives birth to certain things. So similarly, the very first life system started in the bottom of the ocean. In the very bottom of the ocean, the first life emerged. And when that life emerged, it was very small. And the very purpose, I mean, you may have heard of this quote. The very purpose of the first cell that appeared on Earth was to divide into two. Okay, just like we divide into two, we give birth to our future generation. So generally, unless you have some, unless you are really stupid, or unless you have some mental or physical disturbances, in almost all the cases, our grandparent was smarter than our great grandparent. Our father was intellectually and every way smarter than our grandfather. And we are comparatively a little, ahead in our life. So I am 29 right now. When I speak to someone who is 20, who is 21, who is 22, so the problems I went through when I was 25, most of them will not go through the same problem, even if there is half a decade difference, not even a decade, half a decade difference, because all those things are naturally coming in their brain, right? So they are naturally becoming that wise because they are born with our DNA. So most of the information is already shared. So exactly like that, in the bottom of the ocean, when the life form formed and it was dying, it was dying in the bottom of the ocean itself. It had very small lifespan. So when the information was passed to the next cell, to the next cell, to the next cell, they understood that okay, so every cell has a voltage. Okay, so our body is one of the biggest electronic system running on the planet. It is, when I say this, please don't go and put yourself on charge, thinking that okay, it's an electronic system, so maybe I can charge myself like a robot. That won't happen. So our body creates the electricity it needs automatically through the food fueling system. Okay, so every cell that we have has 1.4 volt on the outside, and in the inside it has a minus volt. I'm not sure if minus or zero, but in the inside it doesn't have a positive volt. But every cell has a 1.4 volt outside. Why do you think we can take just one sample DNA from Vaibhav, and we can tell how many kids he's how many illegal kids he has outside in the market? right? Like, we can sample that and we can say that, okay, this is Vaibhav's kid without marriage. So why do you think we can do that? Because every cell has its own DNA information. Every cell that Vaibhav has, that I have, carries my, information, that what kind of person I am, what is my complexion, what is my general nature, and what is my height. So it carries generally all those basic details to match. So the other cells that were dying, they got to know that, okay, if we need to survive, we need to go and make sure that we do something differently. So they started looking for things. Okay, so how can we survive longer? Like now human is looking for anti-aging processes or to live longer. So that was the very first purpose, like to atma raksha was the first thing of the, even the first cell that appeared. Even when you sit on a chair, the mosquito generally knows where to bite you. Okay, it will not generally come and bite you on your face because it knows that that is the place you can easily slap and kill it. So it will try to bite you on your, backside probably, or in your leg side, because generally when you sit in a chair, that is inaccessible part. Then you may sometimes ignore some small bitings. So even the mosquito is that intelligent. So that first life form started flowing up from the bottom of the ocean. It started going up, and when it started going up, it started getting lots of food. Okay, so it started getting the mineral, the everything that the water content had. And the most of all, whenever someone is sick, we tell them, go and sit in the sunlight for some time. Okay, when we have cold or when we have some problem, because sun has been a vital part, part of our life. So when they started going up, they started getting sunlight. So when they started getting sunlight, they started getting bigger, better, and they started growing. Because they did not die very early, they could grow, and they could eat some other things. So that is how, in some places we had fish, in some places we had dolphins, in some places we have tortoise, we have different kind of species. So the first kind of species that popped up on our planet was, in the bottom of the ocean. And we are creative, right? So even if we know that some dangerous sport may kill us, but still we attempt that dangerous sports, because we are curious people, right? We want to always experiment and see what other things does. So what happened is, the aquatic animals are the animals that live in the water. So they got curious and they started floating up, they started coming up on the ocean, and then they started moving around. They discovered land area, just like Columbus discovered America. And then they discovered it, and they feel like, hey, let's go out. Right, just like we went to the sea. When we came, we dive into the sea, they came out of the sea. Some of them, they even emerged. So there is a special tribe. Okay, there is a special tribe in somewhere in Indonesia, or that part. So their dietary staple, their diet is mainly their diet mainly comes from sea. Okay, so they have to dive in the sea, and they have to hunt for sea creatures, fish, and a lot of other things, right? So what happened is, through hundreds and thousands of years, through the generation process, they evolved. So we can't hold on breath for so long, but those people, they can hold on breath for 10-15 minutes and stay underwater and hunt for food from the ocean. So from the sea. So that is how their body evolved. We can't do that. We did not evolve because we don't live in the coastal area, and fish is, or sea, seafoods are not only the options that we have. So that is how the aquatic animals started coming outside, and then they became aquaterrestrial. Some of them, they became, so we have aquatic animal, we have terrestrial animal. Terrestrial animals are the ones that live on land, and then we have aquaterrestrial. So aquaterrestrial are the animals who live both in, can live both on the water and in the land. So in this evolution process, a lot of other animals popped out, just like we throw something somewhere and then different kind of species come out of it. So that is how the different species came, and the closest we resemble to is chimpanzees, right? So chimpanzees and monkeys, we say, monkeys are also where, in lots of temple, if you see, if monkey snatches your phone, and if it takes to a nearby forest, it will imitate calling someone. Just like you take a phone and call someone, it will imitate that nature. because that is monkey's nature that closely resembles to human being. So that is why, so they thought, okay, we'll walk. So we walk upside down, we do gymnastic, we do so many monkey like sports. So they also thought, let's walk without hand on the feet, hand on the land. So that's how, when they started walking like that, when they made it into their daily practices, their backbone started growing straight, their body started, posture started growing straight. So in human beings also, there were, in human also, there were different kind of humans, different species probably. So Homo sapiens, Homo deus. But then what happened is, just like today we are into racial fights. Okay, so people from south will not value the people from north. People from India will not value people from west. People from west will not value people from Africa. So because of our education system today, most of us coexist. Otherwise, there are always some people, some police officers, or some other people who are killing the black Americans, or people, still people from Bihar get ill treated in other cities, and people from other cities get ill treated in the other cities. So that is the general structure. So that is our, old animalistic nature. So that is why we were separated. So we killed other species of human beings who were called differently, and our species won the fight, won the battle, because we constantly evolved with the nature. And then, if you see, lion have been there for a long time, but they still kill people with their hand, with their jaw. But they don't, just take a tree and then sharp it and make it into a, pointed edgy instrument, and they don't just, shove it down anybody's throat. But human beings are the ones who learned it, and human beings are the one who developed desires to eat something different. We were the one, we said, okay, this is cauliflower, I like it, so let's make more of it. Then we started forming civilization, then we started growing it. It was difficult to grow crops anywhere, in the forest or anywhere, so we started shifting to the river banks. When we shifted to the river banks, it was easy for us to pull out. So when I made a lot of rice, and if Baba was thinking, okay, Shivam is getting rich, so he said that, okay, let's steal some. Then the security system came into place. Then we started temporary houses, we started, fencing our walls, we started building, temporary houses, we started making igloos and so many other things. And then gradually, as the, people grew, there was more security threat. Because if Arunish has all the cauliflower in the world or in my city, and he is not giving it, he is rich, so even today we have stealing system, right? So because of that, we started our, security system, building houses, and that led into innovation, into one into other. And the barter system came when we wanted to exchange things, when we were, because we are very creative people, we don't like eating rice. If I'm making rice, for how long will I eat rice? So I said, hey, let's exchange with Vishal. And then I said, let's exchange with Vaibhav. Vishal can give me dal, and Vaibhav can give me sabji, and Arunish can give me tomatoes and fruits. So that is how these system came into place. So after, this system was established, so later what people found out is, Vishal is having lots of rice. So this demand and supply came after barter, right? So after barter, demand and supply came, or even within the barter, and they thought that, okay, there is too much rice, so rice loses its value. But if like broccoli, it doesn't come in the summer season, so definitely it's expensive. So people thought, so Arunish maybe think that, I have broccoli and it's a rare commodity, so I need, I cannot give 1 kg rice and 1 kg broccoli, that's not the right exchange. So then, this concept starts developing, then this currency started coming into picture, then the digital currency started coming into picture. And so this is how our society started. And if you see, if you go in the village, you will still find people having animalistic nature. Just like you go to a village and you go to a forest and you see two lions fight. You go to a village, where people are less educated, less compassionate. You will still find two women fighting like that. I have seen I have seen a women's fight where they had bitten each other with their teeth. Imagine, you know. So it was like a wild chimpanzee fight right in the middle of the road. So that nature still holds in us. So this is how we have evolved. And in today's time, I hate it. Okay, let me put it in a straight term. You become spiritual, or you become lazy, or you become anything, you sleep a lot, or you do anything. But when people think that, okay, I got an accountant job in Bank of India, I have a government job and I'm not supposed to, or I don't want to do anything extra. That is anti-evolution. Okay, the reason why we stand here today is because of evolution, like it or not. Okay, our parents said that when we were kids, when we used to use phones, our parents used to say, how much phone you are using it, your phone gets damaged because you overuse it. My father used to say, every time you do tip 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 in your phone, right? But right now, I don't have my father, but my mother is the one who uses phone till 1 a.m., probably sometimes 1 a.m. And I was questioned. So sometimes, even though some changes are not good, everything has two sides, right? So in Hindi or in English also, we say every coin has two sides. So just like that, our society, as and when it progresses, it is becoming sad. Instead of being friends with each other, we are being friends with robot. But let's say if I lost a family member and if I want to talk about it to someone, and I don't have any friends and I have a robot in my house, and the robot these days, they're very smart. When I'm sharing my problem, they will make sad expression. They will look at me in the eyes. They will follow my conversation. They will hold my hand. But end of the day, I will know that what losing feels like. The robot can never feel it. So sharing that with Arunish, sharing that with Vishal, with Bevav, with Amita, with Akshay will make me, will help my healing process than a robot holding my hand. So this is a change in the society that we cannot change it. A robot will get into all of our homes. It is already got into our phones. We don't have a robot standing here doing as an assistant, but our Google assistant is a smarter assistant than we can hire, right? So in US, this is a note for Vishal also. So in the US, the how, because you have a startup that works in this area, in US we have a system where your Google assistant can take a booking. You can just say, hey Google, book a table for me in so and so saloon between this time to this time. So it will call. Okay, you will not know anything, the internal process. Your phone will automatically call that restaurant or that saloon, and it will speak to the owner or the receptionist of that hotel, and will say that I am looking to book a hotel for Vishal between this time to this time. Okay, or it will say, let's say if I give an instruction of 12 to 3, so it will check for me for 12. And if the receptionist says that, hold on, let me check. So the robot or the AI even gives the human expression, says like, okay, take your time. So it gives that kind of expression. So it makes it as humanly and possible. So, and then, if they say that, okay, we don't have a, table at 12 o'clock, would you mind 2 o'clock? Then the AI that is making the call will say, yes, 2 o'clock sounds fine, because the instruction from Bisal is between 12 to 3. So this is the kind of society we are getting into. This is something we cannot change. But then what we can do is we can evolve. We can
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah.
ourselves. We can, when lions were killing us, we made a spade, right? When we needed agriculture, we made, or when we needed firewood, we made axe to cut down the trees, right? But then when AI is coming into picture, why do you think when you get an accountant job, you're not supposed to learn? Many people I know, I am very sad. Probably, the few, I mean, a big percentage of our people will not be able to survive the AI implementation because they are not skilled. And when I, as a company, have to survive, and I have to, so I will always go for surviving my company. And when I go for surviving my company, I will just, take out those people, and I will not be, I will not have money to pay salary to those people. It's as simple as that, because the competition will either drive me out of business, or if I want to sustain in business, I have to implement AI and fire people, right? So many people who are anti-changing, or who thinks that, no, I will continue with being as traditional as possible. So this is not possible. This life is not possible. You need to constantly and every day, people talk about change management. Okay, but if you want to succeed in life, change is not enough. You have to evolve, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Actually, Shivam, there was a researcher who made a statement like, in the upcoming future, all the kind of stuff like buying groceries, doing a job to earn some money, those kind of stuff will be done by robots only, and the human will only do the creative kind of work in the
Hmm.
upcoming future.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
And
just
we have evolved through that, like we have a system in our mind like neuroplasticity, if you have ever heard about this concept, like
yes.
a quote was made like the neurons that are fired together are wired together. Like whenever we do some kind of task, like again and again, our neurons develop very fast, and we just make it like a easy task in the future. So currently, like robots, like making robots, these kind of stuff, like could be tough, but in the upcoming future, those kind of things will be like very easy to develop. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, a lot of people have been put into machines, okay,
Yes.
and into brain scanning machines. So, when you think about your mother, a different part of your brain lights up. When you think about your girlfriend, a different part of your brain lights up. So, it's not like you don't love her, and it's no, not like you love her. So, for everything, there is a separate language center in our brain. Okay, just like you have a separate English class, you have a separate maths class, just like that our brain has that all thing figured out, right? So next thing what can happen is, since it triggers our hand, so when I think that, okay, lift my hand up, and then my hand goes up, right? So just like that, whatever instructions that we are thinking and giving it to our body, maybe it could be connected to a device, and let's say I will think, these days we say, hey Alexa, order one toilet paper, it does. Maybe tomorrow we don't
Yeah.
need to say that, we'll think that and it will be done, because anyway it's triggering some action, and some hardware output is happening, that I'm thinking raise my hand and it raises, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that action, that trigger could be to a machine instead of our body, right?
Yeah, these stuff are made through ML and artificial intelligence. Like they only works on data. Like
Hmm.
we give instructions to computer that how you will you perform this kind of function. Like when
Hmm.
you would have to do raise your hand, and what would you do when someone pulls your hand, like these
Yes.
things. And as you said, like the making appointment system, and it was, I think I have seen that conference that was made by Google, and it was around like 2019 or maybe 2020, in a conference in which they showed like how ML will work in the upcoming future to get your appointment. And yeah, it is like currently working in the foreign countries, like you can just book your appointment through just using Google Assistant system. And these are things only based on ML and artificial intelligence. And they can predict your next move, and just give some statements back according to your sentences. And they can easily do these kind of things for you. You don't have to do these things.
Right. So
Yeah.
it was interesting, guys, and we have learned a lot. I mean, I have learned a lot for you. You have learned, it's like both way, two-way process. So end of
Shivam,
this.
can you give me some suggestions, like how we can improve a lot? Like how what was my mistakes today?
Let's do it offline. Let's do that
Okay,
offline.
okay.
Okay. So all I can say is, guys, stop being stubborn, stop not learning, and learn every day, implement every day, and that way evolve every day, right? So since we're talking about evolution, we should evolve, because that is what is keeping us alive, right? So our body also developed antibodies to fight coronavirus, right? So why do you think the problems that you have in your life, the job that you are not getting, the promotion that you are not getting, will come without upgrading yourself, right? Or evolving yourself. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for
All the
joining.
answers are inside of us only.
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
for more information or for more discussion, we can always message each other and talk offline. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Let's keep evolving. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank
Sorry.
you,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Vishal just wished us all good night.
Because I'm just gonna go and sleep for some time.
Okay, you worked all night?
Yeah.
Okay,
I slept late night, so I'm just going to sleep.